Welcome back to Tea Time with Jen. I am Jen, and this is my daughter,
Emily.
This is episode 3 of this podcast style series that we're doing. And also, this is part of Intentionally Living with the Padilla Family Homestead. So, welcome to the Padilla Family Homestead. We are drinking our tea.
Yep.
As always. We always start these. If you're new, go ahead and go back and watch the other ones. But we always start with tea because we love tea. And let's see, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking a Downton Abbey tea. It says Violet. What?
It's Violet and Mary tea.
Yeah.
And it's from the brand The Republic of Tea. And we got this in Monterey.
Her and Junior were on a trip.
So it's caffeine free. It has all kinds of good flavors in it. It's super good. And then I am drinking a black tea because I just need that much more caffeine. And it's called Constant Comment by Bigelow. And it is super good. It has the citruses and the spices and the yumminess.
Is that the unforgettable tea?
Yes. We just found this tea in a box.
And she forgot about it.
My daughter finds humor in these things.
It's a lot of irony.
There is. So today's episode is based on holiday tradition, how we intentionally do our holidays. And some of the traditions we've chosen. And so I thought Emily would be a good person to have that chat with and go over some of the things that we have done. Because one of the things, like this whole series is about intentionally living, right? And one of the things that we really started that in early was holidays and traditions that we did as a family.
I mean, ever since I was little, we've had different traditions. Whether we carried them on later is different, especially like
some of them we changed. Some of them we intentionally changed.
Yeah.
And some we've added in.
Mm-hmm. And it's really, really cool to kind of see over the years how it's changed, but also like how similar it was to when I was little and stuff. Right.
So one of the things, first of all, before we get too far into here, that way if you need time to, we are talking about Christmas traditions and how that's kind of evolved over the years. And if you have little ones in there with you listening to this, you may want to pause and watch later when they're not necessarily right on your toes. Just in case there's certain traditions that you may not want them necessarily hearing us continue to talk about. So I want to put that disclaimer out now, and we're going to start with some other stuff so you have time to get little ears out of the way. But the tree behind us is actually, I think, a really fun tradition.
Yes.
This tradition started back when I was a little girl. And when my parents would my mom would make us ornaments or we would get a new ornament pretty much every year. And sometimes it kind of described what that year was about. Yeah. Other things it was about just something that was popular at that time. You. Yeah, or it's just me. So I have ornaments on the tree. Oh my gosh, I think the earliest one is
the snowman with a name on it.
The earliest one, you can't see it up there, is a bear that my mom painted, and I think it says 85 on it, and I was born in 82. So I have ornaments from the early 80s on here, all the way through until new ones this year, and
stuff for my baby years too.
Right.
Like there's literally this one right up there. I don't think you can see it on there either because it's right next to the bear. But it's just, I think it's me at the age of like 1 or 2.
It's your first Christmas.
It was like 1.
So what we'll do is we'll pan the tree at the end of this. That way you get an opportunity to kind of see these traditions. But we got different ornaments every year, and that's something that we have really added on to. And then this is Emily's last year as a minor.
Yep.
And so when we pack up Christmas this year, we are making sure that we have all of her personalized ornaments boxed up, because you never know when somebody turns 18 and colleges and this and that. And
you might
so
be traveling, you might be staying local. You never know.
So I want to make sure that she has her special ornaments for wherever she is. They're easy access for her for next Christmas. And so we'll be going through some of the childhood ones I get to keep and have as memories, but other ones she's going through and picking which ones that she's going to box up and start her adult tree with.
Yeah, one of mine. So this is something I really love. I don't know why exactly, but I swear I have at least 10 ballerina ornaments on this tree. At least. I love ballerina ornaments. And like you can see a couple of them, like literally one right behind Mom right here is mine. And it's just from over the years I've collected different ballerina ornaments.
It's fun. It's fun to go back and see the different phases. And we did individuals, and then we also did family ornaments. Yeah. The family ornaments will be staying on my tree, and then obviously a million years from now when I pass on, you'll get all those.
Just a
million years ago from now. But we started that because having a pristine, perfectly decorated tree, I think is really pretty. But there's something so special about when you open your box of ornaments and you're going, remember when, and remember where we got this one. We got it in Santa Cruz. We got it in Monterey. Remember, oh, we got this at this ornament exchange. I still have an ornament from when I was in high school. I was working at the nursery at the church we went to, and we did an ornament exchange, and I still have that. Like, it's the memories that are tied with everything, and I think that's something that we have done extremely intentional. I know my mom did it with me, and I really passed on to Em, is capturing the memories in a cool moment. Mm-hmm. I think the first year that we did Christmas with Junior, with my husband, he is Mexican, and he got us these sombreros.
Oh my gosh, I love them.
These little sombrero ornaments, and we love them. We were like wearing them all over. We're putting up stockings.
It was really, really funny. Every time we decorate the tree now, I always have one on my head singing Feliz Navidad.
And it's just passing on creating family memories and traditions.
That, and like really passing on the idea, like how you said memories and everything. Memories aren't about the quantity of time, especially learning from split custody. It's learning about each moment inside that time.
The quality.
Right? It's the quality of it and everything. And that's where you get these memories from, is that quality time.
Right.
And it's so cool to see that unboxed every year.
And sometimes we'll hand make ornaments.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple of salt dough ornaments on there that we painted.
Yep. And then sometimes it'll be what we're doing. Sometimes it'll be capturing who we are.
Sometimes it'll be Hobby Lobby.
There's gift ones. There's one that's really special. My stepmom, who passed away, was it two Christmases before she passed? She got us this, her and my dad got us this little carrot ornament, and it has this little saying. It's a tradition that you put the carrot on the tree and the house won't know hunger, something along those lines. And which every time I put it on there, I think of her, I think of her and my dad. Yeah. And so there's tons of traditions around that, and I think it's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
Like, the tree is one of our favorites. now Emily and I are primarily the ones who decorate the tree.
Yeah.
There is,
Junior
we
will
have
do it
way,
sometimes with us, but
we have way more ornaments
Yeah.
that are mine and Emily's on the tree. We have way more memories involved in it because, well, I've known Emily longer.
yeah. I mean, you've known me for almost 18 years.
Your whole life.
Yep.
So the fact that we started this so many years ago, we intentionally added my husband in when him and I got married, and we created those memories, but it wasn't something that we wanted to force on, because it wasn't the same. They didn't do the same thing in his family, and that's totally fine. And so he loves to watch, and he loves to listen and hear the stories every year, and he likes to hear the giggling, and we go over the ornaments that we've gotten, and we make sure to try to get couples ornaments and family ornaments, and just trying to create those new memories and adding in the new family members, and really holding on and cherishing the times that are past and cherishing the current time. And I think that's really, really important. So that's one of our huge things that we do.
What's your, like, I know the tree is kind of our collective, like, one of our favorite things, but, like, what's your favorite Christmas tradition? Whether it's from childhood or that we do right now?
That's a hard one. So Christmas is my favorite holiday.
Same.
Like, I love the sights, the sounds, the smells. I love, my favorite thing is watching people open Christmas presents. It's not getting presents. I mean, granted, I love getting presents, but I love watching people open the presents that I've either made or I've purchased for them, because there's so much heart.
Look on their face too.
Right, there's so much heart, and choosing something intentionally that they're gonna love, or that they can use, making something, and when somebody understands the value of homemade, it's even better. And I think that is my favorite thing, is just that feeling of I have been seen, that somebody feels I am loved and somebody gets me. I think that's my favorite thing. How about you?
So I'm kind of tied between that and gingerbread house making, because
Go with gingerbread house making, since I did this one.
So a huge part of my love language is like giving things and acts of servitude and everything, because I love giving back. I love giving gifts to people and seeing the looks on their faces. I love just knowing that they feel loved from that. I love knowing that I was able to accomplish that, because that's all I want them to ever feel is loved.
Right.
And everything. And accepted as who they are. But I also really love gingerbread house making.
Which is funny, because
it's a huge
one is
outlet
making
for me.
somebody else feel so good, and the other one is I want to kick your butt and make the best gingerbread house on the planet.
Yes, because I am competitive. I am extremely competitive, which she can tell you.
So gingerbread houses is a fun one.
Yes, because
those have morphed over the years.
I love art. I love any artistic outlet I can get my hands on. I've done stuff with pottery. I've done stuff with painting, watercoloring. There was like sketching for a while there. There was all kinds of different stuff. And so I love how artistic you can get with it.
I agree. And I think that it's fun watching it morph from the little graham cracker, it's not graham crackers, but the store-bought gingerbread ones.
House one time for DPA.
Nice. So the ones that you are store-bought and like they're not really edible because they've probably been in that box for like forever. So we did those.
There's
We
a frozen
have
castle
had
and I did
some
that too.
major fails
Oh my
on
gosh.
some homemade ones, just crashing all over the place. We have tried to do bigger ones. We did at Auntie Mary's one time. We did like the little village of them.
I love doing those. Those are cool.
Yeah, it's
great in our little village.
it's really morphed over the years.
Yeah.
But we do really love to do that. And it's usually somewhere between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
So Christmas
Is when we do right. That's when we do the gingerbread. It's not like a given time.
No.
Per se.
So I think at Auntie Mary's we did it Christmas Eve, right? Or is it like week of Christmas? Like we were there at one point.
We might have done it Christmas.
We
might have
Christmas
done
Eve.
it. I think we did Thanksgiving at one point. I don't know.
Oh yeah, last Thanksgiving I did a gingerbread house over there. Yep.
So it's super fun. So that's a fun thing that we do. Let's see, handmade.
I love doing that.
The type of gifts, we kind of touched on that. Choosing to do. All right, so this is where hopefully the kids are out of the house, or not out of the house, but not near range.
Yeah.
So when Em was little, well, when I was pregnant with Em, her dad and I had to decide whether or not we were going to do if Santa Claus was going to be delivering gifts. And I was not raised believing in Santa Claus, and my ex was. And so we ended up figuring out how to do Santa, keeping the importance of the tradition from his side of the family, and still keeping the importance of the tradition of what Christmas was really about, which is Christ's birth, even though we know that Christ wasn't born in December.
It's just celebrating it.
It's taking the time to celebrate it, be thankful during Christmas that God sent his son, who would eventually die for us, and then
I mean, he saved us all.
Right. And so we wanted to make sure that both aspects were kind of captured.
Which I think you did a really good job at that, because, like, manger scenes during Christmas, like, that was a big thing at Grandma's and your house and everything. That I would always see a manger scene, and we would talk about it every year.
And it wasn't about using, I think we intentionally chose, I didn't want to use Santa Claus to say, hey, you're getting presents or not. And this is going to dictate your behavior, right?
Yeah.
It was, this is the right thing to do, or this is the wrong thing to do. It didn't matter that, what Santa thought about it. Now, her dad and I split right before her 4th birthday. And so she ended up with 2 Christmases for the majority of her life. Well, 2 to 3 Christmases for the majority of her life.
Because sometimes I would be at Grandma's.
And the difference in the styles of Christmas, I really wanted to make sure that she understood, one, I was working my tail off trying to get presents.
Yeah.
We struggled financially for years and years and years. I mean, we still are paycheck to paycheck for the most part. And we try really hard to make sure it's not about how big it is under the tree. Now, as a mom, I always want to make it big and fluffy. This year is I've been struggling with that this year.
Yeah, because we're doing an entirely homemade Christmas.
Right.
And like gifts from the heart type of stuff. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality of the gift and how much of you poured into that.
So for us, Santa only brought 2 to 3 presents per house. Well, that's what I did.
I think at Dad's it was a little bit more. Because
probably.
They wanted to fluff it up a little bit more.
And that's fine. And that's something that we approach holidays differently, and there's no problem with that.
Which, I mean, I appreciate all the gifts. I really do.
the big thing I really wanted to do was make sure that Santa brought 2 gifts at our house. And he did the stocking. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes we asked him if I could do the stocking. And then as she got older, it was so funny, like trying to figure all this out.
Gosh, up on the shelf too.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that one. But eventually it started to kick in, and I didn't want to be the one to be like, what do you, like, yes or no, when she started asking questions. And so I really kept going, well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? And put it back on her and figure that out. So at that point, things kind of shifted and lights went on, and she really realized, oh, hold it, all those years when you didn't have money, and look what you made happen. And all those years, like, it clicked differently for her, which was neat to kind of see. And it was one of those, being a single mom and having Emily, she's sensitive hearted. And she had a really hard time with the fact that she had more presents under the tree than I did. And she would go, okay, I've opened a couple, now you can open one, you know? And so
I'm like, I want you to open it.
So that was an interesting experience for me, because I'm like, buy myself stuff, sticking it under the tree. But it was good, because she, even being an only child, she understood that it wasn't all about her.
That, and like, I've never been one who wanted the entire spotlight on me and everything. I've never been one to where I'm like,
right,
I don't want the focus to be on me a lot. Like, which during performing stuff, like, did not come in handy.
Right, but it's still, you usually do a performance with a team.
Yeah.
So we had that portion of figuring stuff out and doing presents intentionally, who it came from, understanding the value and the worth of it, making time to think ahead of time all throughout the year about it.
I always do Christmas stuff like last minute, the presents, because I have a hard time keeping a secret about it. I get too excited.
Yeah. And I'm like, the day after Christmas, I'm like, I've already started, like, thinking in my head for next year. So that's like trying to help teach how to think ahead of time, how to plan, and how to really think about what it is somebody else is going to want. And to know what somebody else is going to want, you have to make time to really know that person, and to know what's going to make them smile, and what's
like,
going to make them feel loved.
Yeah. Whether it's friends or more and everything, like, you always invest time and your love into that relationship, right, and you get to know them, so you can get the perfect gift for them, so that you can make them smile.
Right. And then when it comes to homemade, I've always been a crafter. I love crafting. It doesn't matter what type of crafting it is. I think it's a really good way to express yourself.
Yeah, it's an art form. It really is.
It is. That's why it's called arts and crafts.
I
know. But it's you get to pour yourself into it, turn it into something that can last, and give that to somebody else. You're giving them a piece of you, basically. And so this year, I think it's the first year we're doing fully homemade.
Yeah.
Going homemade from the presents we're giving to the stockings. We're not buying store-bought candy and putting them in there. So
home-baked goods.
This is going to be a different Christmas. Homemade, though, a lot of times it's harder to get the big fluff under the tree and get that presentation of, oh my goodness. And that's really shifted as a mom for me, because as a kid, like, I think this is the part that I don't care if there's a lot of stuff under the tree for myself, but I feel like I want to make the magic for her. And it's fun because this year she's like, Mom, that's not where the magic is. It's not in a full tree. And I go, I know, but. And she's like, there's no but.
There's not. I mean, it's never been about that. It's never been about the fluff. It's never been about the presentation. It's never been about all the circumstance and everything.
Which
and it's hard.
I hoped that was being passed along.
I'm like,
but you never know until it comes down to it. And this year, it's like
hard as you, because I mean, you want to make that magic, but the magic has never come from there.
Right, and I love the fact that it's realized and that you got it. So now I know, and it's me
just coming out,
and it's me letting go of having a little girl, and to having a young woman. And so this year we're going to do that, and it's going to be much smaller packages. Last year we switched from the fancy wrapping paper to more of like that butcher style paper.
I like that.
Instead of spending money on tags and bows that are just going to get thrown away. We got, here, grab some of the gnomes. So we got these little gnomes.
They're adorable.
Which are so cute.
Like, I like the colorful wrapping too, but at the same time, I really like the simple butcher paper.
So like, here's one of the red ones. So anything red would be Emily's present.
Yeah.
And then anything with blue on it was my present. This one still has tape on it. So it's a little cute little blue gnome. And then I think we had green was...
Smash. So the whole story behind that...
My husband's.
The whole story behind that is the fact that we love Clue. That's my favorite game.
Yeah.
I definitely I've loved the murder mystery stuff. I've loved all that type of stuff for a long time. And those are colors on there. I'm always Miss Scarlet. She's always Miss Peacock. And he's always Mr. Green. Mm-hmm. And so, like, even my sombrero's red. Even her sombrero's blue.
Right.
And everything. Like, it's really, really funny.
So that's kind of where our color scheme came from for that.
Yeah, we all love those colors.
So the presents are all the butcher block paper. And then it has the little gnomes on it. And... that's it. We don't have anything else on it, and it looks so cute under the tree, so rustic. The simple actually makes the tree look more elegant because it's not busy. This is simple and beautiful, and look at all of the wonderful memories above it, you know? Yeah. And so we did that. Which now this year, last winter was actually a lot warmer. This winter has already been way colder, and it's only November. Yeah. I think last year we ran the fire just like maybe,
couple times.
Yeah, we've had the fireplace going nonstop.
Yeah.
So, the butcher box paper though will be able to be burnt, which is great. So it's not just filling up the trash can. Obviously, the tape can't get burnt, but we are going to be putting that paper, using that as for the fireplace. So it's fun making those switches over. And then the other thing she talked about was Elf on the Shelf.
Yes.
I intentionally chose not to do Elf on the Shelf. I did not want to have some creepy little thing telling my daughter whether she was being naughty or nice, check it in. That wasn't what we did. We didn't want to do that. So I chose that we were not going to do Elf on the Shelf in our house. And this marketing team is so freaking brilliant because every kid wants a freaking Elf on the Shelf. And she wanted to know why she wasn't getting one. Well, you're not a troubled little kid. You listen.
She literally told me that. I'm like,
you do what you're supposed to do. You're polite.
So cute,
you know, like and so I can see it click in her head when I said that. So I have to be naughty to get an Elf on the Shelf. And I said, what am I doing? Why am I teaching my daughter to be naughty so she can get an Elf on the Shelf? I can't do that. Like, I had that huge moral dilemma
Yes.
right there. So we got an elf on the shelf, but we got an
And I didn't have to be
extremely naughty elf on the shelf.
Yes.
Let's just say the elf on the shelf appeared for the very first time, putting all of my daughter's underwear all over the tree.
Yeah.
And
That was a nice surprise to come home to after school.
and so
I love the elf on the shelf, not so much the underwear on the tree, though.
so we did a little twist on it, and she got into trouble all the time, and she got reported.
On the mirror.
She got reported to Santa all the time.
She wrote on her mirror in lipstick. I think it was that mirror behind us, too. Because you just repainted it.
Yeah.
It was literally that mirror right behind us.
Yeah. So, that was an area where I intentionally chose not to do something. And then went, whoa, hold on here. This is not going to work.
Yeah.
And so really realizing what lessons
you made
are,
it your own, though.
what lessons are you teaching?
We always made it our own, though.
Right.
And I mean, I still have it because I think it's a cute decoration, too, to have.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like, she's just adorable. Little Susie.
So another topic that I want to hit on with this, and I think it's probably one of the most important ones, is we intentionally made Christmas what we wanted it to be, what it was special, what made it special to us, and with having split custody, I had her for 2 weeks in December, maybe 3, depending on how it fell.
Yeah,
so if I did Thanksgiving to Christmas was the only time we had a tree up. That's not a lot of time to get all those memories in and to do all the fun things, and it drove her nuts because she didn't get it. She didn't understand that, but that was okay because I made the decision as the mom.
So disclaimer here, I had a huge pet peeve about putting up the tree early. I absolutely hated, drove me nuts if she put it up before Thanksgiving. Because it's like, at least let Halloween and Thanksgiving have its chance, man. And I've since got over that. I have.
Yes, and even when she put up a little bit of a hissy, it was, well, here's the deal, we're doing it, and you're going to be a part of it. And we still made it fun, and we turned on the Christmas music, and we, sometimes we made popcorn, and we had a Christmas movie going, and we did Christmas, and that gave us time to make the gingerbread houses and cookies, and gave us time to watch the movies that we wanted to watch together, and it gave us time to do the crafts together, and it gave us time to go out and go see Christmas lights while they were up in December during those times.
I love seeing Christmas lights.
When working full-time at the time and only having her part-time, it was something I had to make a choice, and gosh, did I hear about it a lot. I was the crazy Christmas person, but nobody quite understood that was what it was. For having her only 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks out of
full Christmas experience,
out of the Christmas season, she didn't feel gypped on Christmas. She didn't feel like she didn't get to do this or didn't get to do that. No, because we did it. Since you were little, I decorated early. There's only a couple times that I didn't do the tree early because we tried to do the live tree. And that we did that sometimes. But overall,
there was only a couple times we did a live tree and you ended up being allergic to them.
That or I killed it way earlier.
Yeah.
Because I got it too early. But
it was great.
You learn and you make the best of it, and you figure it out, and you figure out what those memories are. As she's gotten older, it's been more Hallmarky style movies. But it's also been paying
like
it
the
forward
cheese,
and giving it back. And during that season, we try to do that year round, but it is something that we have been on the receiving end of food banks. We have been on the receiving end of a random person. I had no idea how we were going to put presents under the tree. No idea. And I got a call from my mom because somebody had partnered with her. And she told me, go open your door. And I go, what? She goes, go open your door. I'm like, okay. She lives in a different state. And she did at the time. And I opened the door, and there's presents upon presents all over the place. And we had Christmas that year. My first year where I didn't have her on Christmas Eve. That was hard for being my favorite holiday. The first time your little girl's gonna wake up on Christmas morning and you're not there. And I got Christmas cards that year from all over the place. People I had no clue about. And that was another thing my mom did. And it was purposely making sure that I knew that I was loved. And that's something that we try to do, is make sure when we know that somebody is struggling, follow that leading in our heart if we feel it, and to make a difference. Right. And because I challenge you to do that. Yeah.
We know.
I wasn't supposed to make you cry.
I'm not crying yet. We know how much it means, and we know how hard that struggle is. Mm-hmm. And when you know that, it means so much more to you and to the person that you're able to do that.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing to be able to do.
I agree. And so I think more than anything, I could tell. I saw it in her eyes. It was building. So I think more than anything, my challenge to you, and we'll end the video here, because I think we really talked about a lot of the different things that we're intentional about during the holidays. We are intentional about, obviously, what we eat. We've talked about that. We're intentional about what we're giving as gifts, and we'll do a video coming up here pretty soon on some of our top homemade gifts for the DIYers, and things that you can do on a budget that make an impact and can be fun. So we'll do that. But I think the biggest thing is intentionally connecting and remembering what the season is about. And when you do that, it changes the whole thing. And
your perspective on it.
It does, because it's not about the tree, it's about the feeling. So you put your tree up in July, you put your tree up in October, you put your tree up in December, I don't care. But the thing is that for me personally, and I know for you, but for me, Christmas reminds me so much that I look at her and I go, how could I give her to somebody as a gift, knowing that she is going to have to die to save them? And as a parent, I can't even imagine. And there's so much involved in that with the Trinity and so forth that I'm not going to go into in this video. But for me, that is the greatest gift. That is what we celebrate.
Salvation and freedom.
And the fact that a present under the tree isn't it. It's the love. It is the fact that we were loved so much. That was the gift that was given. That's what we can pass on, is love.
Exactly. Like he God sent him to Mary, knowing he would have to die. He gave up his most precious thing up in heaven, knowing what we would do, knowing how much we would sin, knowing full well, knowing that we might not love him back, but showing unconditional love, saying, here you go. This is my gift to you. It is freedom, it is salvation, and it is unending grace.
Yes. So this Christmas, my challenge to you is to make it about love. You don't have to agree with somebody to love them. No. You don't have to like somebody to love them, to show love.
You show love to no matter what their circumstances, no matter who they are, what they've done.
And so for me, that's it. And I thank you guys for watching, and we love the fact that you're spending this time with us, and that we get to share our lives with you. And I would love to know some of your Christmas traditions in the comments below. We're at that transitional phase in life, and I think that sometimes adding in new traditions can be kind of fun. And so I'd love to hear some of yours, and so we can take a peek at them.
The stories.
Right?
I love it.
And just remember to show love this Christmas. Find a way to show love. And maybe that's having a cup of tea with somebody. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing hallelujah.